So guys, we're here with Kurt Calleja. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for trusting me.
And what's up?
Good.
Thank you for trusting us in summer, mainly me
Today,
because
what's
I'm
this
the.
one? You're driving
This is
now?
a Suzuki Swift.
First question is going to be about Eurovision because it's
My
very,
fave!
It's very.
I love the Eurovision.
Yes.
I do, I really do.
Do you miss it? Like, do you miss that era of your life and how? Like, how was your experience? Like
The clout
briefly?
from the Eurovision.
Right. So just disclaimer. It's been 10 years, right? So maybe some memories have
Faded.
10
faded.
years.
It's been 10 years since I did Eurovision, Mala.
Crazy shit.
Yeah, I
Bro,
mean
I
it was.
remember you had once come to my primary school. Swear, and we were doing that dance.
That
and I
does
was
not
like,
make me feel old at all.
Madonna, I was 10.
Oh
Exactly.
my god! I think you came to my school as well.
Where did you used to go?
St. Joseph.
I used to
Yes,
go
okay.
to San Juan, Santa Clara.
It is possible. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
So you just went around to Sheba girls' school showing them your
No,
dance?
I went to Shaba schools.
Okay.
Obviously, you were in a girls' school and you were in a girls' school, so obviously
Yeah, I was
That's
mixed.
it was a mixed.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. I was in a
Alright.
mixed school as well.
Yeah, no?
In primary, yes.
My
Even
parents didn't.
secondary, no? It was the first co-ed. Anyways, would you ever consider... tell us about it. Għax waqqaftek, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, it was obviously a great chapter of my life. I mean, it was when I was a kid. I always wanted to do Eurovision. We used to like when it was Eurovision night, order Shaba pizza or Chinese.
Oh my god, I love doing
And
that. I
like-
get so excited.
and galletti and dips
And
and,
dips.
and everything,
Chinese.
and we're just there eating away and seeing the show and saying, "Oh, don't them neighbors you put out."
Eżatt.
You know, it's like, and then
That
oh,
is
must
so
someone
true.
pollution
And then asking your friends, like, what they're
Who
going
Who
to
are you
vote.
voting for? I
Yes,
used to
but
get
in
so
my day, we
mad.
didn't have. I couldn't
Oh,
ask
true.
my friend. You know what I mean?
You're voting for me.
Yeah. So obviously, then eventually, when it came about, and I wrote Over and Over, which was a year before that I won.
How does it go?
Over and over, I look over my shoulder.
Oh my god, that rhymes.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's
Over
kind
and
of the point.
over.
I had
look
gotten
over.
third place, so I was the third.
In Malta or
favorite
like
in
abroad?
Malta, in Malta.
Nice.
To go, so I had participated the year before I won, and I had gotten third place with this
Okay.
song Over and Over, which today, 11 years later, even I sang at Beer Fest and all that, people were singing along to it and everything. So
Lalo.
that means you're too close, Amy, to the one in front of you. That sound.
I was like,
Strike one!
strike one.
Yeah, so then it was like a natural thing to write another song and enter again. Part of it is because you get hooked to it.
Eżatt.
And yeah, I mean, this happened really randomly. I had met a songwriter when I was singing in a festival in Italy, in Venice.
And how old were you?
I was 22
It's ja.
when I wrote This Is the Night, when I co-wrote
Oh,
This Is the Night.
so you had something to do with the writing then?
I wrote the lyrics and the subject was my idea. I mean,
Okay.
obviously,
What is This Is the Night? What is it about? So
it's a representation of a lot of things, because a lot of people like celebrate, you know, like when they graduate, when they get married, when they, I don't know, like they're leaving their country to go to another place. So it's like,
This is the night.
yeah, it's like it's just when I make a big change in my life. You know?
Okay.
Back to Eurovision.
So about the dance, where did the dance come from?
So my best friend Warren, who was a choreographer, and we've had known each other since we were 14. He was living abroad, and he was working on a cruise liner. And he came to Malta because he was in between jobs, and I told him, "Lollo, man, the timing can't even be better than this because I'm doing Eurovision. I have this song called This Is the Night, and I want like a good performance, not
Yeah.
just I go sing and that's it. You know, I want."
You
I
need
want
a
to know-
show.
I needed a show.
Yeah.
And he was like, okay, and we were talking about it and how, like, at the time, Bruno Mars had just released a song with called? What was the name called? I forgot. But I had watched a performance where the whole band was dancing.
Okay.
And I was like, "Ilallu, man, if we can create something on on those lines, it would be really awesome."
Yeah.
And
Which you did.
Which we did. And I remember he had remembered how a few years before I was singing in a shopping mall, and on your way up, and he had taught me to do the foot move, and I had learned it relatively. For someone who's not a dancer, I learned it relatively quickly.
As in, this dance move isn't exactly.
Jien ma kontx naf nagħmilha.
Why ma? It's like
Jiena
3
bitgħallem ma nafx
steps.
nagħmilha, bro.
Yes,
Three
yes.
steps.
No,
It's
listen,
3
I'm not saying it's
steps.
like it got me into Juilliard dancing and stuff like that. I'm saying that for
Emma.
someone who doesn't have a lot of coordination, I learned it. And it became like my thing even before Eurovision.
Okay.
And then we incorporated it in a specific part of the performance.
Would you consider going into the Eurovision again?
I did consider it a couple of times. I had a really nice ballad back in 2016. And I felt it was a bit too early to re-enter. And then when I had written a song which I was actually fully thinking of returning, they had changed the way of
Applications,
they had
like?
done X Factor. They had introduced X Factor because in 2018 was the winner of X Factor, not 18, 19. The winner of X Factor will go to Eurovision. I had a song which I really liked called Sweet Chili, which eventually I released on Spotify.
Okay.
And that was the song that I was hoping to re-enter with. Then in the meantime, last year, I had written Blatar for Mużika Mużika, and I wrote a song for Eurovision. And I was more in love with Blatar.
Okay.
So would you apply with that?
No, as in I submitted to Mużika Mużika. I didn't.
So you can't use the same song now?
No, now I can't.
Yeah.
Oh.
I could have entered with Blatar for Eurovision at the time, but
It's quite the wedding banger.
I just saw
so
a TikTok of a girl playing Blatarf in her wedding. I showed it to you, I think, this morning.
yes, she tagged me this
That's
morning.
cute. That's cute.
Yes. No, I mean it's nice, but I mean I would consider doing Eurovision again, and with the right time, it might have maybe these sleeping policemen.
Oh my god!
You're supposed to like slow down, not just drive at the same speed.
Ah! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
Oh, hand me up.
Aim!
Oh my god!
Bro, oh. I feel a bit safer now.
Whatever, I guess.
So how did it feel winning Mużika Mużika? How was it?
I was really scared from the get-go to return to a competition in general, because when you would have had a success like This Is the Night, it's very risky to enter, and maybe the song people don't fall in love with it.
And they have expectations.
They have
still
expectations.
Okay.
I mean, when I stepped on the stage, I hadn't even sung the song yet, and no one had heard it because they don't do like these preview performances of the song before.
So Mużika Mużika was when you performed Blatar for the first time.
Exact.
Okay.
And it wasn't like in Eurovision they do a preview of the song. So when you go to watch Eurovision, you already know who's gonna sing and what they're gonna sing.
Okay.
They just for Mużika Mużika they just knew who was gonna sing, but the
didn't
songs
know what.
nothing. So when I walked on stage and people were clapping already, I was like, oh
Kurt
no.
Calleja!
I'm like, I really hope that they like the song.
Yes,
I think
You know?
you did pretty well.
Bro, it's like the ultimate
Can you sing a
wedding
part?
song
Can you
now.
sing a part?
Of
Go.
Blatar.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dal-moment kem stennejnih it-nej flimkien ħdimna għalih Għal kem forsi diġa taf imħabti għalik hija Blatar.
I have to ask.
Yes.
Did someone inspire the song, or you still?
Yes, so the
Yes.
song was inspired by a couple
Oh.
who met in rehab.
Aww.
Yes, and against all odds. So rehab is obviously a very difficult phase in someone's life, and there were times when he would be losing faith in himself, and she would encourage him, and there were moments where she was losing faith, and he would encourage her. Eventually, when they graduated from rehab, they kept on hanging out, so that they are not in places where it's easy for them to fall back off the wagon. And they fell in love. They moved to London together. They have a business together. They have 3 beautiful kids together.
Oh, yeah.
And after 11 years together, they decided to get married. and they asked me to sing at their wedding. And I didn't, Blatarf wasn't written at the time, right? And I don't know why I asked them, like, how do you guys meet? You know, it's like every couple that I'm gonna sing at their wedding, I ask them, hey, so how do you guys meet? Like, really weird. But for some odd reason,
You managed.
I was with them and I asked them, like, so how did you guys meet? And they were telling me, like,
Lallo, man.
Wow.
I was, after this meeting with them, I had a barbecue with friends and I was driving, I was supposed to be there at like 7:30. I was driving towards the barbecue and I couldn't stop thinking about them. Like, legit, I kept...
Fem, it's quite an insane story.
Vera.
Fem,
Come on,
and,
it's
and then I
quite
found a
something.
roundabout, I turned back home, I went into my studio and I just started writing. And in half an hour I wrote the song, which is not normal for me to write a song in half an hour.
Lallo, man.
Because I'm like not the top musician or
I really believe that people, like, even if it's just just an encounter, man, like, you just encounter people for a reason, man. Like, that
Yeah.
literally,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
asked
Everything
you.
happens for
I
a
believe in the
reason.
law of attraction.
Even
Same.
me.
Like there was a period in my thinking of Eurovision, for example, I had gotten exposed to the law of attraction when I was living in London, and I had watched it, and I remember just saying like, whatever you want in life, just draw a picture of it.
Exactly.
And I literally got, and I'm
Visualize
like
it.
no Picasso, right? So I got a piece of paper, I drew like this stick figure which was supposed to be me, and I drew balla circles, that means a crowd, and I'm like singing in front of like
How
20.
sweet.
22,000
Sweetest thing
people,
I've
right?
ever heard.
Okay, you know-
But you want to know the weirdest thing about it?
Ah.
When I went to Eurovision was the only time there were 22,000 people. Like there was, normally it's like 16, 18,
Lallo.
12, you know, and when I went, it
You
was,
manifested your reality.
I was like, how
It's
is
crazy
it?
how the
Like
universe works.
when they told us how many people there are in the audience, like specifically 22, I was like,
Għandek aptit drink, manti jek is-suq issa. Imma insomma, għal għanna option ta' orange, grapefruit, u dan dawx differenza hemm bejniethom. Da 20% orange juice, u da.
Are you allergic to juice?
no,
He's got the
Ma
juice.
difference,
he's
you're
got
popular
the
orange,
juice.
you prefer grapefruit.
grapefruit.
Grapefruit. I'm going to keep this pink drink
I'll have
for
the
you
nuts,
now.
please.
Okay.
We're doing a
Which one do you
picnic in the
want?
car.
I'll have the orange
in
one,
the
thanks
car.
to EPSA. Thank you, EPSA, for sponsoring us on this beautiful journey with Kurt Calleja.
Picnic in the car.
Picnic in the car. I can't open it.
Oh
Can
man,
you
that
open it?
the picnic in the car reminds me of the beginning of COVID, like when everyone was was scared to go out and everything.
Thank you.
And we just literally go for car rides, and we're in the car,
Afraid
Afraid to go out.
Kids, u hekk.
as that, and like just getting like shaba snacks and listening to music in the
Yes.
car.
So, I have a question.
You have a question?
Will you sing at your own wedding?
I mean,
Ejo.
don't be out. I'll probably end up writing something.
Oh my god, that's like really romantic.
Imagine you
It's
sing
like
your
super
vows.
cheesy.
Imagine singing your vows. I want
Yes.
someone to write a song about me too. Can you write a song about me and Sarah like right now?
On the spot?
Yeah. Let's do it now.
Hey, that's a good subject.
Okay, I'll go.
Okay, let's see.
Jieħan nifqadaw l-elmin.
Yeah, let's see. I went into the car with these two girls.
Yeah.
One's a blonde and one's a crazy brunette driver. She's a crazy brunette driver. She's crazy, crazy, but I got in the backseat with the crazy brunette driver. That's a really bad song, by the way.
Would you let your brother sing at your
Of
wedding?
course.
I'll hire
Top
Sarah.
entertainment, too.
If you don't let him bring his guitar as a guest, I think he wouldn't come. Ow.
Make a guitar on wheels.
Guitar.
And just make him illallu titfa' robot u guitar and just play spell guitar waħdu. That was so
Yeah, obviously, I mean,
And-
yeah,
So, speaking about your brother, why have you never collaborated
Yeah.
with him?
we are about to.
Oh my god, we predicted the future! Kalea brother!
So basically, the
Song-
reason why
Are
we
you
haven't.
creating a song, ġifiri, or you just collabing, like how...
Right, so
Can you tell us?
so for a long while, people have been asking us to collaborate together. But
Ah.
because for a long while, Kevin, and I don't mean this like in a narcissistic way, but he was in my shadow for a long while. For a long while. I'm not saying recently, but for a long while.
Yeah.
So for the last few years, we decided collectively, because we like working together, we have the same band together and everything.
Okay.
But we decided that when it comes to new material and art and whatever, we do our separate thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Especially because also we were on a very different road musically.
Would you say that you have the same style?
No,
Okay.
absolutely
I
not.
wouldn't say
What
that.
is your style different? So.
Kevin is, what I like about Kevin, he is an amazing songwriter. He is very, very intelligent music-wise, and he can coordinate a band really well. But what really impresses me is how he does a 2-hour gig on his own. So it's just singing, a guitar, and he has a pedal to sort of simulate a kick
The beat,
drum, the
like.
beat. Yeah, and he can do a 2-hour set on his own, and people are not just listening, but they're like
They're
jumping
actually
and dancing and
Yeah.
like a proper concert. Like even when he did at Beer Fest, people are like jumping and singing and everything. And he does that on his own. I, on the other hand, I play piano mainly, not guitar. So I cannot exactly do an up-tempo gig on piano.
Yeah.
So normally I end up either need to have a band, or else I use backing tracks.
Okay.
And vocally, technically, I am stronger as a singer, technically, and I'm more versatile
Okay.
than Kevin. But Kevin, then on the other hand, again, he gets these amazing songs and he strips them down acoustically, and he does a really
Insane.
great job. So
I'd love to see you
we're very different.
collab.
Yeah, I'm excited to see this collaboration.
Now what
between
Kevin
you.
and I did is we got a song that is already famous, and we translated it in Maltese,
Isra. What?
and we're gonna we recorded it already together, and we're really
Can we
happy.
have a teaser?
No.
Okay.
Rar.
I guess we have to wait.
Yeah, but it's soon. It's not gonna be too long.
Irene, is there anything else that we should keep an eye out for except this rather collab now?
Yeah. So I had never written in Maltese before Blatarf, right?
Okay.
And I'm really enjoying it, especially after Blatarf. Then co-wrote me and Kevin this song that I'm telling you about. So I'm working on another 2-3 tracks in Maltese, songs that will be more current and relevant in a sense, with our more radio friendly and stuff like that. I have my own concert coming up
What?
in October, so I'm really
Lovely,
excited
so
about
Okay. That was unexpected.
that. Yeah. We just got. I'm gonna be a support act so Red Electric and Travelers are doing a concert together.
One.
And and I'm gonna be the support act for that show. So I'm really happy about that, because they're the most famous bands in
Yeah.
Malta at the moment. And they asked me to be their support act. And also we got a really, really cool thing going for New Year's Eve, but I can't say too much about it for now.
Ooh, spicy.
So there's,
You have to stay tuned, right?
you have to
Stay
stay
tuned,
tuned,
guys.
exactly.